Why do I look like Bob Ross? Anyway, I've got a haircut booked. My name's Kai. I'm also known as Farrell on here. So, today we're going to do a little bit of a special. I've got 1,500 subscribers, so I thought it'd be a nice treat to do an everyday carry episode, as well as talking about what's in my bag. Before we go any further, let's deal with this. Let's carry on with everything else. So, what do I actually carry every day? Mine's real simple. This is with me almost all the time. My wedding ring is with me. This is a Flinn&Steel tungsten carbide with titanium coating. My watch. It's nothing fancy. This is a Casio watch. Honestly, I only got it because it's got the black with orange accents. Not bad. Cheap and weather resistant, and I work in veterinary, so I don't mind if it gets scratched up, bitten, peed on. Doesn't bother me. It's always with me. For my wallet, like a traditional YouTuber shill, I carry an actual Ridge wallet. Now, they don't sponsor me. I've been using this wallet for a few years now. I did a video on it a little while back. I got the one with the money strap because it's a lower profile. You can see mine is pretty beaten up now, and I love it. I've not changed since going to this. The only other thing that stays with me with my true day-to-day carry are these two items. One is my Sony earbuds. They're nothing special. They've actually relatively recently replaced my LG Tone 8s. I did prefer my LG buds, but I did have a few continuous issues with the quality of them, and I went through 3 pairs in the end before giving up. So I'm trying the Sonys. They're not as good in terms of features, but they're a reasonable balance for the price. My next everyday carry item is a Parker Jotter. I've got a bunch of these. I must have 4 or 5 of these kicking around the house and in various bags. Pretty decent pen, nothing fancy. Again, metal body. They are more breakable than you think if you're using them long term. I've gone through a fair amount of these. You tend to find the fidgety clicker mechanism. It does tend to break, so that's something to be aware of. But again, it's quite a nice quality pen that's reasonably cheap, and they write really well. Okay, the stuff you actually care about. The cameras. What camera am I currently daily driving? When I talk about daily driving, I literally have a film camera in the car. Now, this episode is not going to have all of my film cameras on here. If you are interested in seeing my other film cameras, let me know down in the comments and I'll see if I can get some time to make another video just talking about my camera collection in general, including all the film cameras. So, what stays in the car? This is my Minolta Freedom Vista. This is a panoramic camera that actually has a panoramic viewfinder, so you can see the shots as you would produce them, similar to that of the X-Pan. At the moment, I've got Agfa Vista 200 in there, purely because I got a bulk load at a really good price. But if I'm not using that, then you can guarantee that I'm going to be using Gold 200. I love this stuff. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best film stock for the price right now, and we've got nothing that's really close to it, in my opinion. For my everyday carry camera, the one that I am using when I go out and about, when I go on day trips, when I go on holidays, it has changed. It's no longer the X-T4. I've relatively recently sold that camera. I'm actually using a Sony RX1R. This is essentially a glorified compact camera. You can see this thing is absolutely tiny. Mine is a little bit bigger because of the grip on it, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this is a full frame camera in a metal body that has a proper Zeiss sonar lens that is 35mm f2. So this thing produces some killer images. Now, it is quite old, the autofocus is near enough unusable, but I absolutely love what this thing can produce. Now there are some flaws with it. I'll do a separate review on this a little bit down the line when I've had some more experience with it, but I've had it since April now, and I'm absolutely loving this. The size is perfect. In terms of accessories, I use a range of different straps. So currently I've got just a red silk style strap on it. However, I do have a strap coming from Artist and Artisans, a red cord one, which I really like the look of. I make quite a lot of straps. Some of you noted on my X-T4 video that was a nice strap. That's one that I had made myself. So I do vary what I put on it. Sometimes I'll put the Peak Design micro clutch on it. A lot of different options there, but additional accessories outside of your straps. I don't use a shutter button on this. I did at first. I don't now. Don't particularly like it. I think it feels great without it. Really nice. Super quiet shutter. That's it. So the grip I've just had imported from America. This is a Photodiox Pro specifically for this camera, and you've got to be careful because there's a couple of different versions of this camera. You've got to make sure you get the right one. It wasn't too expensive, but it's all metal. You can see at the bottom it really doesn't add much bulk, but it does add a really nice hook for grip. So for me, this is absolutely perfect. And I will just have this wrapped around me, and then I can just throw it out of the way. It weighs next to nothing, and it's absolutely brilliant. Now you may notice there's no viewfinder on this camera. So to deal with that, I do have the external viewfinder. Most of the time I will not actually use the external viewfinder, but if I know I'm going to be taking quite a lot of images on, I might put it on in advance, as it does make it a little bit bigger. But it does look cool as hell. That's such a unique setup. You can also have a nice vertical shooting style with it as well, similar to your old medium format cameras. So yeah, this is my daily shooter at the moment. The batteries absolutely suck. You're looking to get around 100 to 200 images per battery. So I do actually carry a very slim case that I've just filled full of batteries. It's not a special case, it's nothing fancy, but it'll hold, well, there's 4 batteries in there, so I can just throw this in any bag I've got, or it's thin enough to just go straight into a pocket, and that is my current daily carry. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I know a lot of you know that I have previously shot Fuji for many, many years, and I still do. The X-T4 is my workhorse, but we'll get to that in a little moment. In terms of memory cards, I use the same memory card across all of my cameras. I actually use the Samsung Extreme Pro, and these are the 128GB cards, and I've got them in each camera. That is my daily carry camera. This is my baby at the moment. I'll pop some of the images on screen now, see if you enjoy any of them. If you do, stick around, there is going to be a review of this camera coming separately. Okay, last true part of my everyday carry setup is my phone. This is a OnePlus Nord 2 5G. They got really weird with their naming, but this is a really, really nice budget option. I have one of the SpyGen cases for it, just cheap, nothing fancy. And the only reason I've got this is because at one point I broke my OnePlus 7T, which I've now repaired and I keep as a backup phone. They're really, really good phones, really reliable. The battery's incredible on both phones, to be honest. This will charge up to 100% in 30 minutes, which is just phenomenal. I don't need the cameras to be amazing on it. They're okay, they're nothing special. But yeah, I love it. Does more than I can ask for in terms of it being a phone. So in terms of additional things that I may carry, and going on to the what's in my bag section of this video, my main bag is not a full-size bag. It is the Peak Design Sling. Everyday Sling, whatever it's called. I'll pop it on screen now. This is one of their smaller bags. This is in the sage green colour, and they discontinued this size. So this is the 5-litre version. So this is one of their smaller ones. I love this thing. It sits on me so comfortably. It's so small. And the lid in it kind of acts like a shelf. So if I pull it up, lift that over, I can just pull this down and I have access to everything. Really nice. I don't carry a lot in it. I usually carry a couple of extra batteries in here, main camera in here, and then if I'm carrying something like the X-T4, I may have a spare lens or 2 in here. That's pretty much it. If it's a work shoot, then I will use the capture clip option, and I will mount a second camera onto the front of here as well. So this is my little sling. Normally on a work shoot, I will have a little bit of a first aid kit. So I'll have antacids, which will also have some paracetamol in here, and I will also have some glucose tablets in here. It's really good if you're doing a long photography session. You just kind of cover all your bases. Also carry some plasters, so that's always useful. I always have a selection of lens cloths with me. Honestly, I've got so many lens cloths now that I just keep a spare lens cloth in every pair of pants I've got. The other things I will carry in here is in the front section, I will have a spare charging cable, usually USB-C to USB-C. I tend to use the Anker charging cables. They're cheap, they're reliable, you can buy them in multi-packs, and they support high-speed charging, so they're perfect for what I need. Color-coded for me and my wife to make life easier. And the Nano 2 tiny power brick is the one that I will usually have with me. So this thing again uses absolutely no space. Again, not sponsored. I use it and I have been using it now for quite a while. When I'm at home, obviously I've got the OnePlus chargers, so they're super, super powerful, and most things just get blasted through that. I don't tend to worry about the longevity of batteries. There's more important things in life. But yes, this is a very, very good camera bag. It doesn't look nerdy. My wife doesn't mind how this looks, and she hates the look of some camera bags. It's relatively weather resistant. And it's small enough that it forces me to live with constraints, and it's taken me many years to realise, but I am a better photographer when I take minimal equipment. If I have choice, I get choice paralysis, and I'm quite bad with it. If I'm taking something like my X-T4 out, I will take that and usually just one lens and then one alternate lens in case I see something special. So that's that. Now, when I'm going on holiday or I'm going on a bigger trip, I actually have a normal day bag, which is the Osprey bag. So I absolutely love this thing. It's got like a very rubberized texture, so it's super weather resistant. A couple of things to note about this bag: it is not going to be for everyone. So it is a quick release latch system, which, you know, immediately will freak out any photographers out there. Oh, I might get robbed. No one cares. You're probably going to lose something at some point anyway. Just go out, take pictures. But all it is it just latches on, nice and easy, and then that's that. I want something I can get in and out of quickly. Now, this bag is not too big. It's very good in wet weather. And the reason I might take that, so I do keep a spare flannel in there, just in case I want to throw something over me, in case I'm getting cold or wet. I may also have my iPad with me, so I use an iPad Pro. I don't know which one it is, honestly. It's the one just before they released the M1. I'll put the model down here somewhere. But the screen's absolutely fantastic. It's super, super colour accurate, so I have reverted to doing 99% of my photography editing on here unless it's paid work, and in which case I'll do that on the main computer. But when I'm doing any of my travel photography, anything you've seen on Instagram from me going on holiday, it's all been done on here because it just makes my life so much easier. And I do use the official Apple SD card reader. The reason being is I have tried alternatives, and this is so much faster at transferring hundreds if not thousands of files, so that thing is a godsend. This system with Lightroom Mobile on here can handle my files with no issues. It's really quick and snappy to edit, easily on par with my PC. So yeah, I love it. This is probably the best piece of tech I've bought in quite a long time. I do keep it wrapped in just a cheap cover. It's not anything fancy. Honestly, I just cover it in whatever stickers I can find because I think that looks cool as shit. And I think they call this Space Grey. And it does have the nice version of the Apple Pen where it magnetically charges and holds on there. But I always keep it in this case anyway. So that is my iPad Pro. Very good bit of kit. Highly recommend, especially if you're doing a lot of travel photography like myself. The other thing I've started taking with me a lot when I'm traveling is, ta-da, Steam Deck. Now, some of you may know I'm a gaming nerd, and this channel was actually started with a focus on gaming. I tend to talk more about photography now, but I still have an absolute love and a passion for gaming. And this is my Steam Deck OLED. I absolutely love this thing. I would recommend currently going for the middle tier option if you are looking to buy one, because then you get the non-etched screen, you get the full OLED screen, so you get the best looking version of it, and it's not too expensive for what it is. In terms of consoles, I would say this is the best console I have ever owned, and I've owned pretty much every console in the last few generations. I've got a PS5 and an Xbox Series X upstairs. But this thing has allowed me to go through my back catalogue like nothing else ever has. And for emulation, I can emulate games that I frankly can't play anymore, or games that I find really, really difficult to get hold of. A good example is Jet Set Radio Future. It plays fantastically on here. It looks so good. And even Game Boy Color titles and, you know, Nintendo Switch titles. Need to be careful saying Nintendo, but they look so good on this screen and it runs so well. And it can handle AAA gaming. It's not the most powerful thing. You need to temper your expectations, but I did start and finish Control Ultimate Edition on here, pretty much just to prove a point and just to make me play it a little bit more. So yeah, highly recommend it. Has made flights a lot more fun. I will say though, in its case, it's quite big. yeah, portable, but not the best for portability. But for the amount of stuff you can play on it, especially in emulation, it's 110% worth the price. Honestly, fantastic. If you do want a review of that, let me know. It would probably take me a little bit longer to make something like that, but I would be more than happy to if the audience was there for it. And that brings us on to the final thing then, my work camera. So my work camera is currently filming this video. It's the X-T4, okay? I have a number of different ways that I will run this camera. So at the moment it has the small rig grip on it. I will use that if I'm using larger lenses, or if I'm going to do a long shoot, I'll put that on because it doesn't bulk the camera up too much, but it does make it a lot more comfortable for 3-4 hour sessions, if not longer. At the moment, I'm using the Viltrox 23mm 1.4. I will use that, and I will also use the Viltrox 56mm 1.4, and they are my twins for photography gigs. So these two lenses I will take pretty much everywhere with me when I'm doing a paid shoot. They're both fantastic. They do vignette quite a bit, especially at 1.4, but they are quite sharp at 1.4, which is really, really nice. Are they the best lenses in the world? No. Realistically, every lens can be better, and these are budget lenses. There's no getting around that. I am reviewing a competitor to the 56mm 1.4 at the moment. That video is coming soon, so do consider subscribing. Outside of that, my main lens that I will use is the Fujifilm 35mm 1.4. I've done a video on this before. This is possibly the best lens I have ever used, and at the moment I am using it with the Tiffin Glimmer Glass, which is giving it a really nice look to the images. I love this thing. Has its flaws. Again, I've done a full review of it, but this is the main lens that I generally use. I have used it for paid work. I wouldn't recommend relying on it for paid work because, again, it's a little bit slow. Other than that, if I have any weather concerns, I will take the Sigma 18-50 just because it has the rubber seal gasket around the base of the camera. I'll be honest, I try not to use it much, but it's usually in the car if I'm doing a paid gig. Again, I've done a video on that. Outside of that, if I'm traveling, I will take a rocket blower for cleaning and also one of the little fluffy wipe things, which can be quite useful. So yeah, that covers it. That was a little bit longer than I had intended, but I hope it was beneficial to you. Again, thank you guys so much for the 1,500 subscribers. And if you enjoyed it, let me know. Pop a message down in the comments, let me know if there's any equipment that you'd like to know more about. If you are interested in the RX1R review, then again, hit subscribe. That will be coming. If you do want me to do a review of the Steam Deck or my iPad Pro or my workflow, again, just pop a comment down there and I will get back to you. I try to answer all of them, and even if you're sarcastic, I'm going to have a good time anyway. I love me a good troll. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.